Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Hairapy Sessions with Cindy. Today I have a good friend of mine, Buhle Tsotsi, and we're just going to be chatting about her personal hair journey. She's gone from an afro to recently cutting her hair, and I'm just interested in what that journey has been like for her, and she's here today to share that with us. So, welcome Buhle.
Hi Cindy, thanks for having me. I'm glad obviously to join you. I am a fan of Hairapy Sessions, so yeah.
Well, you have to say that because you're my friend.
Besides that, I've watched most of your episodes and I really enjoy the people you've had on, so I feel quite good being here.
Awesome. Of course. I mean, I've always loved your hair, and we've had some interesting discussions around hair. So I just thought you'd be the best person to have on next. So I'm super happy to have you on. B, can you start us off by telling us a little bit about yourself, please?
As you know, Buhle, I'm from the Eastern Cape, born and bred. I've never lived outside the Eastern Cape. I'm 26 years old. I live in a small village and I work at a school currently.
Awesome. So, B, talking about hair now, what are some of the words that you would use to describe your hair?
So choosing some words is quite hard, but I chose soft, curly, fun, stubborn, natural, and afro.
Okay, so
currently it's not, but
we'll get to that just now. So, recapping on the words: soft, curly, fun, natural, afro. It was a sixth one.
stubborn.
Stubborn. Okay. So soft, curly, natural, afro, fun, stubborn. Interested in these two, the last two, fun and stubborn. Can you unpack them a little bit for us? What do they mean to you? What do you mean by that?
So fun because, this is referring to my afro days, which has been most of my life. It's just fun. You have so many options of what to do. Not just with it being an afro, but obviously braids, different types of hair extensions, but then also like with the hair, what you can do. And then also head wraps, scarves. There's just a lot of options. And then stubborn, I would say that because it's an afro. And sometimes after like a week or 2 weeks of trying to play around with it, it gets well, I don't know, it just doesn't want to do what you want it to do sometimes. There's only so much control sometimes I have. So in the morning, I'll blow it out, and by 10, it's just shrunk because it's naturally going to suck in the humidity or whatever it may be.
Shrinkage is real. I think we've all been, well, those of us who have made that transition to natural hair or have always worn hair naturally, particularly for Black women, it was almost the bane of my existence when I and there were times when I kind of just embraced it. And I was like, it's just gonna happen, you know. But there were times when I just wanted to wear my hair like stretched out in all its glory. And obviously there were things that I attached to both states of my hair. What about shrinkage frustrated you, do you think?
It just changes the hairstyle. So I'll give you an example. If I decided to, do the whole hair scarf with like a little
a puff in the front,
the front, it just sort of covers most of my forehead. In the morning, I'll look great. my little bow will be looking popping, my hair's tied back, like I'll be looking good. Halfway through the day, it's not a puff in the front, it's this little bushy thing that's up here. Like my puff at the back, the front of all like small, bulky, like it just changes the look. It's not cute. It's like CP trying, but she ain't getting there yet. It just changes everything.
Yeah.
And I never knew how to fix shrinkage. It was just, it's just me. I've taken my photos for the day. People that need to have seen me, so at least now they'll understand that the day has been long and the hair is tired.
Yeah. I feel like having an afro teaches you to just be adaptable and just roll with the punches, because the hair you start the day off with is not the same hair you're going to end your day off with. And you need to be willing to embrace that and embrace the changes all throughout the day. If you're caught in some rain, listen, girl, you're going to have to deal with it. If it's humid outside, you're going to have to deal with it. It's just this whole onslaught of different shapes and textures all in one day. There were times when I felt like there was a need for me to embrace it in the moment. And it wasn't always easy because I didn't necessarily feel as beautiful when shrinkage was happening as I did it with my hair in all its glory now.
You saved yourself so much by doing that.
Girl, it's, I will, in the last episode, share my experience, but it's been so nice to be able to just roll out of bed and not worry about my hair. I do think, and maybe this is something we can touch on as well, in terms of the maintenance of afros and natural hair. I think there's a societal norm in terms of what the beauty standards are relating to that and around that. And there's so much pressure, particularly with this onslaught of YouTubers telling you what to do with your hair, telling you what products to buy. And obviously not all of those products are going to work for you. And there's some ulterior motives there because they're pushing a particular agenda and they're trying to sell products. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just overwhelming that whenever, I found it quite overwhelming whenever I had to go to Clicks or Dis-Chem and stand in that aisle. It's the most stressful thing ever. Trying to figure out what you need to buy, what works for you, what kind of hair do you have? Do you have 4C hair? Do you have the, it's just like information overload. And you're having different voices come at you about what to do with your hair, what not to do, what's good for you, what's not. Should you blow dry your hair? Should you dry it with a towel? Should you use a t-shirt? All this information coming at you. How did you, when you had an afro, how did you make sense of all that noise? How did you make decisions for yourself? What did you make of that whole experience of just navigating just products? I'm not even going to go into anything else, just the realm of products because it's so huge. How did you navigate that?
You know what? I'm trying to think how I went about deciding the product. So growing up, there are certain types of products that I used because we had them at home. So there was a level of just continuing with those products because we've been using them. Surely they should be fine even now. But as I got a bit older, sort of high school and just outside of high school, I started, reading up on the types of products. What I try to do is speak to some of my friends. Most of them half of them have afros. Some are African, and so just asking them what products would be good. Also because they got bomb afros, and I always wanted my hair to be as magnificent there. So asking them what works for them, but also recognizing that our hair was very different. And then trying to find out what type of hair I had. So I didn't go to YouTube and search. I asked my friends.
I've found that there's a lot more exposure where 4C hair is concerned. But from what I've seen, it's not necessarily as desirable as all the other kinds of hair. Personally, I have 4C hair. I don't know what kind of hair you have. Do you know?
I think no, I forgot.
Okay.
I was going to say 4B.
Okay.
But I think it could be 4B.
Okay.
I think. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. Because it's definitely not 4C. You and I have had those conversations about your hair and the differences, the stark contrast between our hair. And I remember, like, there've been times when, especially in the beginning of my hair journey, where I would look at your hair and you were so much further along and you seemed to have it all put together and knew what products to use and what not to use. And I was still kind of fumbling through that and trying to make sense of it on my own. And like just putting fingers in our different hair was just quite an experience. And I just remember just being like, a case of the grass is greener on the other side. I was like, this journey would be so much easier if I had Buhle's hair texture. But as soon as I actually took matters into my own hands and I did the research about what my hair needed, and I ended up making my own hair concoction that worked really, really well for me and helped grow my hair and keep it strong and smelled amazing. When I stepped into that, then I had no more FOMO for your hair or anyone else's hair, because I started taking ownership of my hair and what it needed, and actually acknowledging it as beautiful in and of itself, not in relation to anyone else, not compared to anyone else, but it's in and of itself is beautiful.
It's funny you say that you had FOMO for my hair. I mean, I know you appreciated my hair, which always made me feel like, okay, at least not much of a mess. But when I saw your hair, I remember when you had just stopped relaxing it and you were starting to transition, and we saw how it altered its texture. I was jealous of your hair because of the fact that it sort of did what you wanted it to do. Does that make sense?
Because it wouldn't move. It was so hard. Yep.
Yes, I had FOMO for your type of hair because of just how it felt and how it looked. Yeah.
Sure. Another testament to how the grass is always greener on the other side, but it's not always greener. It's greener where you water it, guys. It is always greener where you water it. You've touched on it a little bit, but can you walk us through some of your hair journey and like what transitions you've made, how you've styled your hair, the kinds of choices you've made regarding your hair up until now?
Relaxed hair was just the best. I was a fan of my relaxed hair and I love hair. So I was not the child who had to be chased to comb her hair or to style her hair. I was there. I was combing my hair 5 times a day. I enjoyed going to the salon. Didn't really enjoy the relaxing part because it always obviously ate me. The relaxer always burned. I say ate. It always burned my
That was a direct translation. It's fine.
Direct. Thanks for understanding. So yeah, it always burned me. And I remember Sunsilk came out with like relaxer for soft hair, for coarse hair, for hard hair.
Yeah.
They always use the soft hair on me, but even that still burned my scalp. Like I was like the child jumping out ready to like wash my hair. But soon as my hair was dried and styled and moisturized, girl, I was the one combing my hair every day. I'd get home, I'd comb my hair, I'd show everyone my sleek hair. I loved relaxing my hair. And then something happened when I was in grade 9. I would relax my hair, and a week after relaxing, or just even like 4 days after relaxing, like the bottom bits would just get bushy. I had this like bushy color of hair, so it would like sleek straight and then like bush down here. And my mom was like, "What's wrong with your hair?" And I was like, "Nothing, it's fine." And I would comb it, and then after like some months, she's like, "Nah, girl, your hair is stubborn. Your hair is a soul, and it wants to be natural." I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." So I'd always like want to relax my hair, because it was just easier. And then in December, she was like, "No, that's it. You are no longer relaxing your hair. I won't give you money for that. You won't give it to your daddy. And I won't relax your hair." So she took scissors and cut my hair this height. Literally what I have now is what I had in December of grade 9. Obviously I cried. I'm like, "What'd you do with my hair? I want it back." After moping for about a month, obviously I had to go back to school. So all-girls school. I'm in grade 10. It's awkward times. I don't look the same with my uniform. My face don't look the same. I couldn't put on braids because it was still too short. So it was a stress. Some girls would tease me because it's natural, and it's natural back then. It was like 2009, 10. Yeah, that wasn't really I celebrated as it is now.
Can you tell us why having short hair or having cut your hair, going natural, would have made your high school experience, your teenage experience, all the more awkward? What were the things that you tied to that state of your hair, that state of being, that made you believe that?
So I think it's just this understanding of what a female should look like. This sort of mass-produced image of what a female should look like. Doesn't matter your culture, doesn't matter your race, doesn't matter your ethnicity. Female should have something that's coming out of your scalp, and it should be quite long. Doesn't matter which direction it points. Preferably should be down, but it should be long. And even at school, obviously many black girls also different types of hair, relaxed or just blown down. You could style it, you could slick it back. You had that little hump. Oh my gosh, we had this hump situation in our hair. I remember the hump.
So, I think we've all been there. Well, at least our generation. You've tried.
I loved that hump. Oh. It just made my face a little pointed. I don't know. It just made
my gosh,
my face a little less chubby.
Miss.
Sorry.
I'm just so struck by how much emotion was around cutting your hair and making that transition to an afro, especially during such a sensitive time in your life, when you're a teenage girl, not just a teenage girl, which is hard enough as it is, but a teenage girl navigating being in an all-girls school, and that on its own can be a whole series in and of itself. And that's something you and I share. We both went to all girls schools when we were younger. But I'm struck by, and even just hearing you reflect on your experiences in the hair salon, and I'm sure every black girl and black woman can cite a time when you're sitting in that chair, you're getting relaxed, the hairdresser is telling you to just hold on a little bit longer, and your scalp feels like it's on fire. And what strikes me the most about that is the idea and the notion that, and it's come up in different ways, not just in this in these Hairapy Session series, but even in conversations I've had with women around beauty and hair. The idea that beauty is pain. Do you think you've subscribed to that in any ways? And if you have, how do you think that's affected the way you move through the world?
So doing my hair from a young age, 7 years old, maybe not 7, maybe 8, 9, whatever it may be, getting my hair relaxed or going to the salon and having someone for me do my hair and coming back home. And I'd always show my dad, and I'd be like, oh, look at my hair. And then he would try to touch it. Oh, don't touch it. Don't touch it. It's full. Yeah. And then he would always say, beauty is pain, but it's closer, And obviously then it's funny because Buhle bunzima or Buhle bubuhlungu, that obviously has my name. And so I would firstly try to separate my name from that statement and know that it's not me that's the problem. It's just trying to attain this level of beauty that I see and that I want to have is a problem, is a challenge, is pain. So I think I gave in the notion that in order to look a particular way, I would have to go through some level of pain or discomfort. And I remember doing my hair. It was a couple. The husband had relaxed my hair, and the other wife was actually putting braids in my hair. And I remember my mom visiting me. She was first with me for a little bit, and then she left. And then she came back like an hour later with like chocolate chips. Because keeping me focused on something else would distract me from the pain of having my hair pulled and my hair tucked. So from a young age, doing my hair always meant I got some snacks to go with my hair appointment. And that was just normal. Pain was just normal. Not sleeping flat on a pillow for a few days was normal.
Girl, and flashbacks.
But, so all of that was normal. And even like when I'm in high school, I recognized that I could say you're pulling too much. I could say it's been for too long. I know you're a salon, you work at a salon and you know what you're doing. But for me, it hurts. I would always have those conversations in my mind. So when someone's doing my hair, I would want to say you're pulling, or my head is in an awkward position like this. My neck is spasming. I need to straighten up my neck. I could say that, but then they would have some sort of attitude and would pull my hair harder. So I'd always not too sure what I could say or what I couldn't say, but just that I knew I had to go through some level of discomfort to get what I thought would look good on me for whatever particular moment, reason, event, or just for life. So I bought in it. I bought in the idea that beauty is pain, so that I could look a certain way. I think as I got older, I think it's just more of speaking out, really, just being mindful, going to the salon and saying, sorry, don't use that comb with my hair, use that comb. Don't use a fine tooth comb because it's going to pull up my hair, use the afro comb at the very least. Or the big, those big fingered combs. Use that instead. Don't brush my hair because it's going to pull at my hair. Don't start at the bottom when you're drying my hair. Start at the top.
I don't think it is only relevant within the context of a Black woman's hair. I think it's relevant across the board. It's relevant in terms of you feeling like, or someone feeling like they need to get up at the crack of dawn to put makeup on. A lot of people have partners who have never seen them without makeup on, and they're constantly dodging in the shadows, making sure that they're never seen without makeup on. They're never seen without eyelashes, never seen without their eyebrows tweezed. We all have something. And I think it's one of the most powerful and also one of the most destructive ideologies that we can buy into, particularly as women, because I've never heard a man say that before to another man. I've never come across that. It's only to women, and it's women to women, and men reinforce that sometimes, like your dad said. And it's never malicious. It's never because I want you to suffer. It's a case of this. Your suffering will not be in vain. Your suffering will end in yes. Your suffering will produce something of worth that, it's all worth it, my child. You will be beautiful. This beauty is something that requires the suffering, and it is worth it. And I've just been thinking the last few weeks, especially being in lockdown, and I'm locked down on my own, and I'm really grateful to be able to have my own space and roam wild and free, and it's great. The extrovert in me is suffering a little bit, but that's fine. But just being in a space where I don't necessarily have to make an effort about how I look, what I wear, cleaning up my space for someone else. I clean my space for me, but I'm not thinking, oh, okay, I'm having a whole bunch of people over for dinner tonight. Let me just, make sure my place looks decent. And a thought crossed my mind. And the thought was, it's not my job to be pretty. And I sat there and I thought, oh my gosh. And it sounds so simple and seemingly trivial, but just actually that dawning on me that I don't have to endure any kind of hardship. I don't have to endure any kind of pain for my beauty. I don't have to sit for hours on end. If I choose to do that, that's a completely different story. But I need to constantly be evaluating my motives behind why I feel the need to get up in the morning to put my makeup on before anyone sees me. God forbid people see me without makeup. God forbid people see me without my hair straightened. God forbid people see me without my hair plaited out the night before so that I can wear my afro as a, God forbid that there is shrinkage. So what?
It's funny you say that. I think from these past few years, 2-3 years, maybe 1-2 years, I've been going through that, not just with hair, but with just everything. Why I do what I do. I think I've realized that the different categories or boxes we put ourselves in dictate how we think we should live, look, through. And seeing how those categories have affected, I've seen how those categories have affected my life and my decisions and how I interact with people, and then sort of trying to make decisions so that they don't affect me. I've realized how I have sort of limited myself in the past, and now even like with my jewelry and with my hair, even cutting my hair, it's more of a, I don't know, like I'm living who I think I am, not who I box myself to be, not how other people have described me to be, and the implications of those words. Does that make sense? So when you say that you don't need to be pretty for anyone, it's not your job, you're not obligated. It's something similar to what I've been going through, that I don't need to be plain just because I'm quiet. I don't need to be plain just because I am shy. I don't need to. I can wear bright colors. I can have big jewelry, which I now do. I can now wear makeup and have bright colors. And being introvert and, casual and calm doesn't mean all these things that I've placed on myself and what people have placed on me. I can be bright and wear and have my hair big or short, as long as it's what I'm comfortable with, and as long as I'm still me and I'm not hiding from that. So,
again, the reason why Hairapy Sessions exists is because it's a topic that filters and infiltrates into so many aspects of a person's life. It's not just hair. Hair is not just hair. It's tied to so many different components, and having conversations about it opens up doors into different areas. And I want people to realize that whether they're aware of it or not, their hair, the way they look, the way they dress, whatever decisions that we make about our appearance are informed by something. And it's not about the choices you make. It's not about cutting your hair or wearing it straight or stopping hair drying it or not straightening it or keeping it. Whatever it is, it's not about that. Ultimately, what the issue is why you're doing it. It's about sensitizing people to our motives, our ulterior motives, the things that inform the seemingly trivial decisions that we make. Like you said, that a few years ago you just became a lot more aware of why you were doing things and asking questions about that, essentially asking who makes the rules. But I think fundamentally what you're saying just makes me think that it's just about asking the questions. It's just about saying, you know what, actually I do have some power here. I have autonomy. I'm so struck by what you were talking about in terms of in relation to hair salons and making the transition to being so aware of the power dynamics within a hair salon. My guy, we could do a whole series on just the dynamics within hair salons and what happens there, the conversations that happen, where it's basically a therapy room. And again, that's part of why Hairapy Sessions exists. But within that space, just being aware of the power dynamics at play and making the transition to acknowledging and experiencing those power relations and feeling that tension, and also getting to a point where you're like, actually, I have a voice here. And even if I come across as this snooty Model C school kid, actually you are hurting me, and that's unacceptable. Obviously, I'm not going to be rude about it, but I'd like to speak up. I'd like to make sure that I don't need to go take a Panado after I walk out of this hair salon, and navigating the whole, actually, please use that comb instead of that one. For me, when I made that transition, it was mind-blowing, because after relaxing my hair, those hairstyles they do, and like it's like stuck to your it's ridiculous. And it's like and then like they'll sleek it down, and then they'll like tongue the ends, and I hated that hairstyle with a passion, but I never felt like I could stand up. And as soon as I walked out, when my mom would pick me up, I would grab a comb. I'd be like, "Mom, can I have your comb, please?" Cool. Put down the mirror in the passenger seat, and I'd restyle. I was like, no one is seeing me like this. I can't stand this, And I didn't feel like I could speak up. I didn't feel like I could say that. But the day when I stood up for my preferences, when I stood up for myself, and I said, actually, cool, you're done hair drying my hair now. Can I please have the comb? Or it started off as okay, can you do it this way? And then they're like, okay, here's the comb. Just do what you want, and realizing that I had autonomy over my hair and the way I presented myself to the world. So we have come to the end of part 1 of this episode with my friend Buhle. And the reason why there are 2 parts is because there's just too much to unpack in one episode. So we're going to split it into 2. And this is the end of part 1. But before we leave you, B and I would just like to send a special shout out to our friend, Dr. Fortunate Mokoena, who has she's been an amazing mentor to the both of us, and just been a great mama bear and a great source of wisdom and mentorship and lots of love. From time to time, she posts the both of us and she says, "Oh, I miss my babies." So her babies are saying hello and shouting her out and thanking her for all her support, particularly with Hairapy Sessions. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this journey with me. I will be, obviously there'll be a part 2 to this particular episode, and I'll be sharing my story in the very last episode of Hairapy Sessions. Thank you for being on this journey with me and engaging. Please let me know if any of what we've chatted about today in this episode has resonated with you. Please don't forget to comment, like, and share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's been great hanging out with you guys. See you later.